Welcome and welcome to Creative Curriculum. If you're watching this video, chances are you're new to Creative Curriculum and you need a very basic introduction to the curriculum and the curriculum components. So we're going to talk about what you've got to use to implement Creative Curriculum and just a little bit about each part. So let's get started with the foundation manuals. There are six volumes to go with the Creative Curriculum. There's the foundation manual, there's the interest area volume. Notice how thick the interest area volume is. Creative Curriculum knows how direly important your preschool environment is. There's the mathematics volume, there's a literacy volume, the objectives for learning and development, and now there's a science, social studies, and technology volume. These volumes are your curriculum. If you read these volumes, you will have one very high quality preschool classroom. The reality is that you probably can't read all of these cover to cover, but man, are they a great resource, and I really encourage you to dig in periodically throughout the year and check out all these volumes. The one I'm going to point you to first is the foundation. This, when you're first getting started, this is the volume you really need to dive into a bit and to really understand how this curriculum is built and what the objective is and how to implement it. So the foundation guide will give you a brief overview of everything. It gives you the structure that Creative Curriculum is built on, and it's really whole child, whole family curriculum. The other volume that you're really going to need to get to know very well is this Objectives for Development and Learning, and in this one is the objectives that you're expected to teach and assess. So Creative Curriculum chose all these objectives to because they're highly predictive of what preschoolers need to be successful in life and in school. So there's a social-emotional section, and in this volume of Objectives for Development and Learning, you've got this rainbow of development, starting with birth through, my manual only goes through age 5. Yours probably goes through age 8. So birth through age 8, and this continuum of development on these objectives that you're required to assess 3 times a year. So we'll dig a little bit deeper into those when we talk about my teaching strategies, or teaching strategies goals, your assessment system. But really, this is the best way I can describe this is your roadmap for your curriculum implementation. Your studies that I'll talk about in a minute, these studies are a vehicle of delivering these assessments in the classroom each day. So 6 volumes to give you amazing guidance with a high quality preschool classroom. Now you also have study guides. There are many different study guides, and this handy dandy pocket chart comes with your curriculum. You can put your study guide in it, you can put these little cards in it, these are Mighty Minutes, and then your intentional teaching cards, and this can be just ready for the day whenever you're teaching. So your study guide, this one happens to be the closed study, and there's tree studies, there clothing, buildings, reduce, reuse, recycle, exercise, balls, pets, bread. There's many studies. And so you have these study guides, and in the study guides is your daily guidance for your week. And you've got some support with what to do with the interest areas, question of the day, large group time, your read aloud, small group time, Mighty Minutes. So your Mighty Minutes and intentional teaching cards, which I pointed to here, they line out for you. These are suggested cards to use. Then there are, so I guess let's go into the Mighty Minutes. You have 2 sets of Mighty Minutes. And these cards are they give you suggestions to use each day in your study guides, but also I would suggest pulling out more of these because they're great for transitions, or if you have 2 to 5 minutes of wait time, washing hands, brushing teeth. These Mighty Minutes are amazing. So we're going to dive deeper into Mighty Minutes in a different video, but just know that that's what these are. Then you have the intentional teaching cards, and I believe you have 2 sets of intentional teaching cards. Now, these also you have online with My Teaching Strategies or Teaching Strategies Gold. You have these electronically too, so know that that's there. So with the intentional teaching cards, you've got social emotional ones, literacy and language. This LL05 is a literacy and language one. It gives you the objective, which is linked to the objectives that we talked about earlier, and other ones that relate to it. And then it gives you all the instruction you need and the guidance for seeing where the children are at. We're going to dive deeper into these intentional teaching cards in a different video too. So intentional teaching cards, amazing for small group and instruction for whole child, social, emotionally, physically, literacy, math. There's many. You also have storybook discussion cards, and your curriculum sets you up to do repeated reads, and so it gives you the first read, the second read, and the third read, and guidance for those reads. Your coach or your supervisor is going to beef this up a little bit with you with the dialogic reading method. Just a little bit more purposeful and great for oral language vocabulary development. On your storybook discussion cards, you have vocabulary words, and another thing that your coach and supervisor will do is guide you through a 4-step vocabulary process. It's just an explicit way to teach vocabulary, and that will be in another video. Also, another support you have with your curriculum is these big, huge binders that the state of Montana made. And in these binders, you will find supply lists and center vocabulary lists. So these center vocabulary lists will be, if you go take a look in the classroom, there'll be plastic sleeves, and they put these vocabulary lists in those plastic sleeves in the center. So this particular one is for the art area, and it's beginning of the year study, focus question 1. So in the week that you're doing focus question 1, you hang this in the art area. And what it is it's more of a guide for adults when you're having those quality center time interactions with kiddos. This can be some ideas of how to make your vocabulary more robust and help those kiddos grow their own vocabulary. So they change out often, not weekly, but some of them change out weekly, and I believe they're built for every study. Not all of them are in this big binder, but that you do have them all electronically on your shared Google Drive for your program, and I'll show you where that is as well. So what else is in these binders is, and if you are coming into a classroom where they've already used it, these may already be cut up. These are to teach explicit vocabulary instruction. So this one is for beginning of the year study, a pocket for corduroy. So you take these out, you laminate them, you cut them up, you get a little library card, you stick it in the book that it goes with. So these are built to teach some explicit vocabulary instruction with your read aloud. Great colorful pictures. You have the printed word to show the children. Connect that spoken word that we say can be made to letters, and we're going to talk about this some more too. But know that this is an amazing resource that the state had built. It also has, your curriculum has family letters to send home for each study. They tweaked them a little bit to condense them, make them a little more, less education jargon vocabulary, just simple, quick they just tweaked them a bit to make them simpler. So take a look at those and see if there's something else that you'd like. Also in the back of these binders, I always like to show you too that there's additional songs and poems to go with your studies. So take a look at what else is back there. So this trees one isn't a Mighty Minute. It doesn't come in your curriculum, but there are additional ones that the state looked up and said, oh, this would be a good one to add. So these are in the back of your binder too. So great to cut out, laminate, hang up, get those little ditties and poems and songs going for that phonological awareness, brain growth. So that's, one last thing. If you hit the road running and you're getting your classroom set up and you're implementing a new curriculum, and it can all be overwhelming. So you're wondering, am I implementing this curriculum right? It's a different curriculum. If you come from a public school, you're gonna be like, what is this? It's built differently. So if you are wondering, am I implementing the creative curriculum for preschool to Fidelity in the right way? Here's where you go. The Fidelity Tool Checklist. It's an amazing thing. I would challenge you, if it's your first year, to just take one of these a week or as a team and just say, okay, am I following the guidance provided in the teacher's guide? And then here's all these indicators to check if you are doing it. And the greatest thing too with this new updated Fidelity tool is it will give you the volume to go look up where it talks about it. So for example, this one says interest areas are attractive, available as a choice daily, and supplied with adequate amount of developmentally appropriate, well-maintained materials. And then it goes through each of your areas. You got the block area, the dramatic play, toys and games, art, library, discovery. So you're like, I don't know if my block area is up to snuff. Do I have the block area set up to a high quality standard? Well, right here, it tells you, go look in volume 2, page 7, and check it out. Read about it, see if you are. And it gives you a quick indicator here, but if you want to dig deeper with how to make your centers really high quality, here's the page number to help guide you back to your volumes to support. So, great tool to use while to see if you're implementing the curriculum the way it's meant to be implemented. That's it in a nutshell, and tune in to dive deeper into each of these components in the next videos.